The Lake District is many things to many people. It might be a longing for a bygone way of life when a coach and horses was the only transport between the dales, or a view of the rugged fells, or a tranquil lake, a picturesque stone farmhouse with that unmistakable lingering aroma of sheep on a warm summer's day. It could be a pleasant hike through a quiet forest or by the edge of a mountain bed. And there are those who like to discover the delights of a typical Lakeland inn and savour the local brew. But on the west side of Lakeland, where the fells reach down to what the Lakes poet William Wordsworth described as the grass-crowned headland that conceals the shore, the Lake District hides a secret that few of the annual influx of 15 million visitors are aware of. At the ancient port of Ravenglass, where the rivers Esk, Mite and Ert have joined hands and scoured a channel into the Irish Sea, the coastline on the north side of the port was once a mass of rocks, but over millions of years the relentless pounding of the waves against the shore ground them into small pieces of shingle and finally pulverized them into sand. The result was an expanse of flat, hard sand nearly 5 miles long that reached from Ravenglass almost to Sellafield, the coastal site of the UK's first nuclear power station. Dried by the sun, the sand was blown inland by strong winds and piled high into dunes. And Mother Nature helped to hold everything together by planting vast areas of the hardy marram grass. Then added a bit of colour with gorse, wild rose, sea holly, wild thyme, daisies, harebells, sea bindweed, and gorgeous expanses of heather. Where rain gathered in hollows, freshwater ponds were formed, and the surface was soon covered in a sparkling display of marsh marigold. And the beach attracted the eider duck, masses of terns, and the distinctive ringed plover. The locals called it Drigg Beach, and the dunes were a popular hideaway for smugglers who brought in rum, brandy and whiskey, and even salt from the Isle of Man, only 30 miles away. In less turbulent times, seabirds made the dunes their nesting site and expanded so rapidly that in the 1960s there was a colony of over 10,000 black-headed gulls. Bird watchers came from far and wide to see this fantastic sight, but in the 1980s, without warning, the whole colony suddenly deserted the dunes and headed south to Walney Island near Barrow-in-Furness. One day the sky above the dunes was filled with the cries of thousands of birds, and the next day it was silent and empty. Bird lovers were horrified, and many pointed the finger of blame at the Sellafield nuclear complex. Others said no, it was caused by the Ministry of Defence gun range close to Ravenglass because they'd built lookout posts at intervals along the dunes. Some even hinted that the culprit could be another type of mating species that was attracted to the isolation of the dunes. But once all the wild speculation had died down, it was generally agreed it was probably the scarcity of food that had forced the birds to find a new home. There are plenty of people who would tell you that Drigg Beach is the finest stretch of unspoilt dunes and sandy beach on the west side of Britain, and it's difficult not to agree. With 250 species of wildflowers, its natural beauty is stunning, and it's an oasis of peace where you can quickly escape from the mad world. The rush hour is but a few oyster catchers and lapwings settling down to roost for the night, and the largest crowd you'll ever see is someone walking the dog. It's a beachcomber's paradise, and all manner of unusual things can be found washed up in the dunes, especially cuttlefish bones, mussels and cockle shells, and there's always plenty of rubbish like plastic drums. This fish box will probably never find its way back to its home port of Kilkeel in Ireland, but what a story this empty jar could tell of whisky galore and lively drinking sessions after a successful smuggling trip. It might have been part of the cargo of this steamship driven onto the reef of Barnsker Rocks in a gale many years ago and stripped bare by plunderers and souvenir hunters. There's a local legend that sometime in the 16th century a Spanish ship carrying a cargo of sheep was wrecked off Drigg beach, and the sheep that swam ashore are the originators of the native Herdwick sheep of the Lake District. Whether there's any truth in it, we'll probably never know. Drigg Beach has now been granted SSSI status, Site of Special Scientific Interest, but an official title is no guarantee of protection, and with the departure of the Gold Colony, so went the post of Reserve Warden, and now the beach is unsupervised. Through the cooperation of Muncaster Estate, who own this part of the Cumbrian coast, local people and their families and visitors are able to enjoy walking and picnicking, and dog lovers exercise their pets. But there's a very real concern that the increasing popularity of rough terrain sports could soon pose a threat to the beach and to the fragile dunes. Hopefully a solution can soon be found, or the timeless beauty, the tranquility and the solitude of this hidden corner of the Lake District National Park might be lost forever.